We are fighting for common ground, and I'm Larry Waterman, and we have a guest today. What's your name?
Matthew Smith.
Casey Dexter.
Jean.
Pepe.
Pepe.
Jean.
And there is also
Ron, the man in the chair.
I'm back here.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So go. So anyway, a lot of things have been going on. A lot of bad things have been happening during the week. I mean, so many to even mention, but we had a tragedy with Rob Reiner.
Mm-hmm.
We all grew up with Rob
Meathead.
Reiner. Yeah, we grew up with him and enjoyed his comedy, enjoyed so many of his films that he made, Princess Bride.
Yes, I love that.
Few Good Men.
I want the truth.
You
can't
handle the truth. But, so many good things that the guy did and the things that you hear from people that knew him well. Mm-hmm. And he really cared about people. He really cared about this country, although it may not have agreed with the other side. Nonetheless, he did care, and he fought for what he believed was right. And he wasn't preaching about it, but he was involved in doing things, taking action. And the loss of him and his wife is something that we will, I think, I'll speak for myself, he will be missed a great deal.
And here we go once again with Rob Reiner has never changed. He's always been the same person he's been. So now he's a problem. So who's changed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and then, excuse me, then we have that other side that talks about how he, more or less saying he deserved to die.
Oh, I've seen that too, yeah.
Yeah, and
Nick did a favor to everybody.
Yeah, and he said that he, because of his Trump derangement syndrome, that's why he was murdered. That takes a real sick son of a bitch.
An incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS, out of the words of Trump's own mouth.
Well, remember, my father always said, and I've said it on this podcast many times, when you point your finger at someone, there's always three pointing back at you.
You've never said that on this podcast.
See, I always thought the Trump
once.
derangement syndrome was the vice versa.
I thought TDS was tiny dick syndrome.
Well, he has that too.
I thought
most MAGA men have
thought
that?
it was
It's
all
an
the MAGA.
acronym. It's an acronym for
I thought all
it.
the MAGA people were the TDS syndrome because they were the ones obsessed with Trump.
They are.
I thought it was vice versa.
But
It is.
But
no, they try to point it at other people. And
now they're
say
trying to say it's
no, they've always said that.
Oh, okay, maybe
we're
I had it
getting off.
backwards.
We're kind of
That you libertards are the ones.
we're
not
getting
pointing
off.
at you.
We're getting off topic a little
What's
bit.
the topic?
No, that's the topic.
This is
the
the
point.
topic.
The point is that the things that Trump has been saying about him reflect right back to himself.
Well, that's what we're talking about with TDS. It's exactly
deflection,
what the,
yeah.
It's exactly what the Trumpers do. They point and say, "You got TDS," and it's really them that has TDS because they're obsessed with Trump.
Well,
Yeah.
they've all taken on his characteristics. Pretty much. Pretty
well,
much.
they see themselves in him. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about taking. I think they already have those characteristics.
But I think
Well,
they have to be deranged in order to support him, right?
yes.
Well, no, there's no
It
question.
kind of goes hand in hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So meanwhile,
Fist bump.
meanwhile, we're going through this whole phase, and then and in the same within the same 24 hours, you had the Bondi shooting in Australia. For people celebrating a holiday, Hanukkah, as Festival of Lights, it's a festive occasion, and it was spurred by, so they say, by these two people, a father and a son, that were tied up with ISIS. And the one thing that the Jewish people need to remember in this whole situation too, the one that saved a lot of people, he was a Muslim himself. Okay. And a lot of times people, they have a difficulty because they look at Palestinians, and if you're not, because you're Jewish, maybe you should be opposed to Palestinians, which is not really the case. It shouldn't be. But they need to remember people are people. And don't condemn anybody. And it goes for all sides. You should never condemn somebody because they're not the same as you are. And because they hold some different beliefs. And that's maybe one of the biggest problems that we face in the world today. I mean, in the world. Because somebody doesn't see things the way you see them through your prism. Somehow they're evil. They're bad. When in reality, they're just people. You know, so I think...
Well, sometimes they are bad.
Well, there are... there's going to be those times. I don't quite... But I'm speaking overall, you know, in a general sense. You know, I'm not going to condone evil acts and say that it's okay, because it's not okay, obviously. But I just think that people should remember, you know, there's other people out there that you might be pointing your finger at, and they're the ones that could save your life. And that's something to really look at. And that's something to pay attention to. You know, it's the same way I treat taught my daughters, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated. And if you're not being treated good by somebody, that doesn't give you the right to treat them badly. It gives you the right to turn around and walk away and have nothing to do with them. But it doesn't mean you have to treat them badly.
Yeah. Well, another thing that I think that people need to remember is two wrongs don't make it right. Like two wrongs don't make it right. Don't treat just because somebody wrongs you doesn't mean that you have to.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Two lefts make a
but
circle.
I thought you said two Rons don't make a right.
Oh no, that does.
Oh, look at her! She got all handsy with it. Woo! Whoa! Slow down, partner.
What were you gonna say? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that it's calculated? Do you think that if you want to hold somebody down or you want them to look at your left hand, you figure out something to do, but what's really going on is in your right hand? Is it really calculated?
Sometimes it is, but those are described as, I guess, as distractions.
Is what's calculated? Can we be more specific?
For someone to make a statement that infuriates a lot of people, do you think that they have thought about that and knew exactly what to say to get people upset? Or to...
If we're talking about Trump?
No.
Just in general. And you know what?
No, if you're talking about Trump, no.
Yes.
Because he just instinctively knows how to do that. But with some people, yes, I think either...
their motivation.
Okay, some people, I think, like you were talking about before we went on here, a family member just knew how to push your buttons, right? I don't know if they intentionally thought, I'm going to do that, but they just do it innately. There are some people who, and I've found myself doing it, where I intentionally want to push somebody's buttons. So yes, I think sometimes yes. It depends, though.
I think in politics it happens more frequently than some people either want to admit or recognize, because that becomes a strategy to push other people's buttons.
Well, like this guy at the
market.
market.
Well, you've got to prepare your speech, right? So you've got to think about what you're going to do.
I never prepare a speech. I just do it.
I know, but most people do.
There's this guy at the market that has these signs. This young kid, abortion rights, and it's got mutilated.
Yeah, that's been going on for a long time.
So that could be an issue. He's
Yes.
sparking stuff. I was proud because we were there last night, and Casey wanted to say something to him so bad.
I did.
But it's like, if you say something, because my back's been hurting for the last 2 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. If she says something, then I have to get involved, and I don't want to have to get involved tonight where they're on a date night. I don't want to have to deal with this because it's going to explode. Last thing we heard was some older gentleman said you shouldn't be putting disgusting stuff like that with kids around.
It's offensive.
And he started a confrontation with this old guy. Well, his younger son went up and cold-cocked this guy and knocked him out.
What?
Okay, so when you jump in
did?
with something
At
like
the
that,
market.
your
This
people
old
are not
guy's son
understanding what you're talking about.
Him arguing with his dad and just walked up and knocked him out.
So
Knock
he's
the
talking
abortion
about a
dude down?
night market we went to,
Okay, cool.
just so you guys
So
know.
you're creating issues. And we thought the lady, the host there, asked him to leave, but now he's been back. So
You know, the thing is, you talk about and describe that type of thing. I've seen that happen back in the days when NOW was just beginning, National Organization for Women. some of us would go down to the women's health clinic to help escort them in because there was some of those people that were out there protesting. We didn't know if they were going to get violent with the women or not, but they held those same signs. Those signs have been recirculated for 50 years? Yeah. I mean, 50 years this has been going on. And that's what it brings back to mind. It's that, what was the name of the guy from Operation Rescue, Randall Terry?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's his name. He was heading that up at the time. And they would go out in front of these clinics, and they would be standing there every weekend with those disgusting signs.
Yeah. But it's like what he was saying. Are they doing it for a purpose, or are they doing it to get a reaction?
They think they're doing it for a purpose.
I think both. I think they don't have anything going on in their life, and they need the reaction. It gives them
purpose.
Power to a certain degree too. I'm able to control you in some way,
they should
right?
go adopt some children.
We always say those that anger us control us. So that's part of what they're doing. I do think, but I don't know if it's calculated. You know what I mean? Because they really truly believe in this cause, and they really want to get people riled up about it. But at the same time, I think they enjoy the confrontation because it gives them a certain level of control over you.
Well, in the same token, you're bringing that whole thing up, and it kind of reminds me of
Rob Reiner.
No, Trump.
Can we get back on task? You brought up Rob Reiner. You were the first one. Talk to me about it.
I had been.
Okay. I think Ron should speak of what he saw on a video.
What?
Yeah. Because he saw that the mom actually lived until she was in the ambulance and actually was able to say that it was her son.
Yeah, so this is what happened. So this was by a neighbor that lived in the neighborhood because it's only 10 houses on that road. And he said that actually she doesn't really live across the street. She lives in a back house. It's a property. Mm-hmm. And when she got there, the mom was still alive.
The daughter.
The daughter got there. The mom was still alive, and Rob was already dead, and she died in the ambulance. But she was already alert enough to tell them that it was Nick, so they already knew right away that it was him. And the mom died, just bled out, and so that was what the neighbor had said because he knew the people. So that's what we're getting right now. So.
No.
But he had psychosis episodes before where he'd break everything in the house.
And she kept telling them that it's dangerous to have Nick in the house.
Yeah.
She kept saying, you can't have him.
Well, the other thing I heard that he had told Conan O'Brien that he wanted to go home and keep an eye on his son.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure this situation wasn't a first for them as far as his son being out of control.
No.
Well, he was in the rehab 15 times, they said?
Yeah, but that's...
15 times. Imagine the money that went into that, though.
Yeah, but that's drug issues is not quite the same issue as the mental health issue because in the mental health side of things, I look at my daughter as an example. She could just have an episode and the whole world is crumbling before her eyes. And then she responds in an irrational way. And for my daughter, this is nothing new. People will say, well, how can you handle it? I've been through it so many times. It's no longer something that I have to try to handle. I just do what I have to do.
I look at that. I don't know who's right or wrong because I don't have the experience with autism or the drugs and those things. But in my years of teaching, if I had students that I wanted to get their attention, I knew how to do it. I knew how to say certain words that would get them thinking one thing, and then now I have your attention, and this is really what I'm trying to do. And me coming up, I'm not Jewish and whatnot, but coming up, my father was white, my mom was black. Mm-hmm. I went through quite a bit, and it was a mental trip where people could say things to me when they wanted to get to me because they knew exactly how I was going to react, so they would win. If it was an argument, if it was a basketball game, if it was just going to a concert, People knew how to say something for a certain reaction. When they had that, they had me. They sat back, I lost, and they won. So maybe some of the statements that are made are so that Trump can win, because he's experienced saying different things over the years and knowing, if I say this, this is going to be the reaction.
And you see that all the time.
Oh,
I
yeah,
see that
for
with
sure.
people
I
online
agree.
they're like, we're
He
gonna
does it
own-
all the time.
We're going to own the libs. And that's part of what it is. I don't know that he does it intentionally, because I don't know that he's intelligent enough to do that. But he definitely
I
has
think he
learned
does.
has learned through the years that if I do that, I'm gonna get at you, and then I win in that way, right? So yeah, sure.
If I say it, it's true, and you
Well,
guys will believe it. Like
he
it's the
does it over and
Democrats'
over.
fault that I got busted for being a rapist. It was Biden's fault. He made it happen. Like things like that. He said he's tried to put into words to make it true. You know.
Well, but he says it over and over
Yeah.
and over again, and if you say it enough, people start to believe it.
Right. Sid and Marty Croft, when they came up with the Schoolhouse Rock, they did a study and they knew if a child hears it 12 times or more, they're going to remember it. So it could be, if I keep saying it and keep saying it, there's a certain part of the population that they are pretty soon. If it's what you hear, then that's part of that brainwashing.
That's what Goebbels said.
Well, it's. I remember getting into this not argument, but discussion in law school with people, and I'm like, I don't stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance because I'm not going to let you dictate to me what is important to me about my country. But that's what we do from the time I was a little kid. Stand up, do the Pledge of Allegiance, because if you do it over and over and over again, what is your mindset? Right. When I look at my own religion, I think of that's what I learned as a young kid. It's hard for me to let it go. Rationally, I'm like, this shit doesn't make any sense. But it's still difficult for me to let it go because at a young age, it was ingrained into you, right?
Right.
Yeah. And that's what Trump does over and over and over again.
Right.
Well, Goebbels is the one that said if you say something enough times, people will begin to believe it, and that's what he does. And he look, I don't think of him as being a highly intelligent person, but a person like him doesn't have to be highly intelligent to try to sway the masses.
No,
he just keeps
obviously.
repeating the same thing over and over again. And he can, at some point, and he can do it now, he can turn on a dime and change his opinion, and people will follow right along with him because he's got people that are conditioned. When he's out of office, there may be a great opportunity for somebody to go in there and recondition people that fell into this Trump syndrome routine and believed everything. They could make a lot of money trying to get these people back to some kind of semi-normal state.
So do you believe that we need to talk to and get the information to the people that are listening to this? The Dems did it. The Dems. Maybe we should be looking at, through education and through self-awareness, that those are just words. People need to learn how to think, and it's our job to teach people how to process and how to actually think. The ones who don't think and they are told what to do over and over and over, that to me, those are the people who, my neighbor, 90 years old, name happens to be Ron.
Is that the other Ron?
Yeah.
Two Rons make a right.
You know, he was a something high ranking in the military. He believes what he has been told over and over and over, and he'll say certain things to me, and then I'll look at him and I'll question him. He doesn't like me to question him.
That's military.
Well, you don't question. Where I, in the classroom, have tried to teach students how to think.
That's important.
Right. And I think the focus, if you look at trying to eliminating the Department of Education, the word, just anything that deals with education and people learning how to become individuals that can maintain their own life by processing, we're trying to take that, not we, but they're trying to take that away from people. And then you hear over and over, turn on the news, it's the Dems, it's the Biden.
That's what I was just thinking in my
Dems,
head.
the Dems.
Anytime you talk to a Republican, they're like, "Oh, but you did that. But Biden did this, or Obama did this, or Biden did this." So what?
But
They're not.
I don't care.
They're not in office anymore.
But isn't it like common
I don't
sense?
care.
Isn't it common sense for you to go, why is it the Dems' fault when the Republicans have the House? How is it always our fault? Isn't that just basic
But
common
you got to
sense?
get it right. Radical left. Remember.
But we have to learn what common sense really is.
It's not common.
It's not. We have to teach people how to think rationally. There's a book, The Celestine Prophecy. I read it in college, and it really kind of changed the way I looked at things as he went through his travels in Peru. How you actually think. He was told to look at life a certain way, and pretty soon he saw the way that they thought he should look at life. I'm not going to tell you how the book ends, but it's a powerful book to teach people how to reason, how to do your own thinking. Sometimes parents are involved in that also. A child, like I said, my wife is a principal, and she comes home and says to me, these little kids said this and this and this. They hear it at home. If you hear it over and over and over, they don't understand politics, but they hear it at home.
They'll
And they
repeat it.
bring that to the school, not even knowing what they're saying, but they know that certain kids, if they say certain things, the kids react a certain way, and they won.
You know, when they talk about the Dems, the one thing that I've looked at is the fact that the Dems, as they call them, liberals as they might, progressives, are free thinkers. Unfortunately, the people on the other side, they have to be told what to think because they can't think for themselves. That's why when you hear them talk, they're speaking verbatim what they hear on Fox News. You know, they're minor birds, but they can't have a free thought to be able to express themselves in their own way. All they're doing is regurgitating the crap that they've been hearing, and they're doing it verbatim. That's when you really can identify it.
That's why we need to educate instead of just saying, this isn't working. These people. Well, what are we doing to help the people who are followers to become thinkers?
But the powers that be don't want that.
Exactly.
And that's why they all will say, well, you go to college and then all of a sudden you become a liberal. No, I went to college because at that point was the time when, up until that point, most teachers are just teaching rote stuff. You get to college and all of a sudden now it's like, now we want you to start thinking more critically. We want to open your mind to different things so that you can see these things. And you try to bring that into the schools.
And they're against critical thinking.
Yes, of course they are. Because if people think, if they become educated, then they
a
question.
Threat. They're a threat.
Right,
They're
yes.
a threat.
And Bloom's taxonomies, I think that when we look at the way that we learn, we need to learn how to get to the synthesis, and we need to learn how to think. And we're not teaching how to think. Even in families, there are family members who are trying to get me to think a certain way because they think that way. And if I don't, they have something they can use against me. That is your sister. What is wrong with you? That's your sister. No matter how, no matter what. No, it's not like that.
No.
We need to learn how to go through Bloom's taxonomy when we are talking just to people, so they can learn instead of the bottom rung where you just regurgitating words. I can spell all these words, so you give me an A, and wow, I feel real good about myself. But when it gets up to really critical thinking, that is where I think sometimes we fall back. When someone talks to me, I was on a cruise not too long ago. Someone was talking to me, and the lady said she was doing this Trump dance thing. In,
no.
in Mazatlan. You were with me.
What's that?
You were with me. We were on a cruise.
Which cruise? Was it the one in Mexico?
Yes, and we were in
up the
Mazatlan.
coast? We went up the coast?
Right. And the lady, she looked at me.
She was dancing like Trump.
She got up, because they have the band out there playing the music, and they're giving you tequila in Jello, and people are just
Jello shots, baby.
Jello shots, but she got up and she started doing this. Well, they started playing some music, and it just happened to be that
YMCA?
no, but it was Motown, and she said, "Wow, I love Berry Gordy. I just love Berry Gordy." And I asked her, "Well, have you ever met him?" "Well, no, I just love him. I love him." "Well, no, I knew him. I was in his studio. I've done productions. I have produced." And I said, "You don't know him." So I turned around. By that time, Lawrence had a couple of shots and whatnot. But she sat down with her husband, and then she looked back over at me, and she didn't know how to process that this guy, he's African American. I'm going to mention Berry Gordy. All of a sudden, he's going to be on my side, and pretty soon, I'll recruit him to start doing the little Trump dance. But when she started looking at me, and her husband looked at me, finally, she said, "Wow, okay, what's your name?" Now it got to the point she wanted to know who I was, what my name is, not I can give you a trigger name, and all of a sudden, I got you. So, that's my little story.
You should have said Obama.
She then we would have been in a battle, and she would have been stealing my aura, and she would have been stressing me out, because now all of a sudden I'm trying to get mine across to you, and you're trying to get yours across to me. We were on a cruise and on a vacation, listening to music.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was finish my margarita
And have a good time.
and that's it. So she couldn't suck me into what she wanted to. And when she sat down, her and her husband, they just kind of looked at me as if like, "Whoa, wait a minute. He's not buying this. Maybe we better go to somebody else who we can get a reaction out of." And she actually did. She went to different tables and stood there and just did this little dance thing. And her husband was just sitting there at the table just smiling, watching her go to work on people.
Sounded like she was an attention
That's
seeker.
weird. Yeah.
She
wanted to find somebody that could relate with her or something, maybe.
Or fight with. One of the two.
right. On just as I cruise a lot. On another cruise, my wife and I were sitting, and we were at the aft of the ship, and we were just sitting there. And a guy looked at me, and he was with his wife, and so he came over to me and he said, "I want to ask you a question." I said, "Oh, okay. What is with all these tree roots that are coming out of people's head?" He said, I don't understand that.
Tree roots? What the hell is that?
As if you were
It's the-
black and you could answer that question, or
You
what?
had dreadlocks or cornrows.
Dreadlocks and whatnot.
Okay.
So I looked at him, and people that was around, they were kind of, paying attention to see what I was trying to say.
Like,
That was,
it's going to be a fight?
and then I looked at him and I said, "I don't know, because I don't know them personally." There was nothing else that he could say to me, because he didn't pull me into trying to justify why there are people different nationalities that have dreadlocks. I don't know him, so I can't answer your question. He left. That was it.
Well, and he said it in such a way that it could be taken as offensive. It wasn't like, hey, man, why do so many people like dreadlocks? What's the thing with it? Do you know? Have you ever had dreadlocks? Because I
Like
see
you
you're
said,
African American.
tree
Maybe
roots.
at one point you did, and it's tree roots, which is
Right.
Offensive.
You know, yeah, very. That
Yeah.
could be taken as offensive, right?
But to get me battling him,
Yes,
trying to justify something,
inside,
yes.
whatever it is with him. Yes,
Right. So I don't know. That's what I guess I'm saying. I come from education, teaching people how to think critically. My neighbors leave me alone now. They don't bother me about their religion, and I didn't have to avoid Ron. I just said a certain thing to him, and that was it. He was like, "Oh, okay." I don't know how to deal with him. I don't know how to. So I put the ball back
In his
court.
So when it comes to, you mentioned education, they got rid of the Department of Education. You know, and I'm sure there was a specific reason for it, because they don't want people to become educated. Remember what Trump said? He said how he liked the poorly educated. Mm-hmm. And now he's going to make everybody else poorly educated.
And he's got them. That's what I don't understand. I people are like, oh yeah, well that was waste of money, and I was trying to put it toward. I was thinking, well, you know what? If the federal government isn't giving money to the states for the schools anymore, then the state has to give. Then you're going to have to pay more taxes in your state in order to pay for that school. Like it's like you are dumb.
Do you think
Because
the federal government's going to give you a reduction on your income taxes because they got rid of the Department of Education? No.
No.
It was part of that stupid, ugly
You don't think
fucking
the state's
bill.
going to increase your taxes to educate children? Maybe.
The purpose was all that extra money that goes to pay for programs that no longer are paid for, but we pay it in our taxes, is going to go to that deduction, those extra deductions for the billionaires. They're getting the money. That's where the money is going, and people should not be fooled to think that, oh, well, they got rid of the Department of Education, they'll make it up somewhere else. They're not making anything up.
Okay, but we're going back to the same thing that everybody keeps repeating. It's going back to the tax breaks for the rich. We know this, but what else is it going to, right? It's going to ICE, detention centers, arresting Americans, deporting Americans into different countries. Like the things that they're doing, the money that they're wasting, that Trump's wasting at this point. I mean, it's $40 billion to what is it? Argentina. You know, like
Now they want to do that.
It's
now,
more than just tax breaks for the rich at this point.
and it goes beyond
Yeah.
immigration. Now they want to denaturalize people that were naturalized as citizens.
Yeah, take away their birthrights.
Not even their birthrights. The people that became naturalized citizens, they want to reverse it, so that those people are no longer considered citizens.
My grandfather, for example, who came from Italy and was illegal, then he got a citizenship. They want to take that away from those people, even though it says in the Constitution whether you are born here or you're naturalized. They also want to take away somebody who is say they're a non-citizen and the person's born on
soil,
American
yeah.
soil. They want to take that away too.
Well, they want to do it to the Native Americans. Where are they going to send them?
That is
Back
purely
to India, because they're Indians.
It's purely it's all about white supremacy.
That's exactly what it is.
And like he said, why
So
can't
fuck you, Ron.
so why can't we bring in people from Norway? He said.
Well, that's
you know-
what it is. He's letting South Africa,
Oh my God, I
white
heard
South
that.
Africans in. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
racist South Africans, Afrikanis. So I mean, this bastard wants to turn around and kick everybody else out of this country unless they are white. You know, and to me, that there's nothing more disgusting. And if they don't like this country, they want to make it white, then they should get the hell out. I got a great place where they can be around a lot of white people.
Antarctica.
No, Russia. Russia. They're Caucasian.
They've got Asians there too.
You know,
Okay.
we're looking at the broader picture, my wife and I spent 2.5 weeks in China. And from Beijing, Suzhou, Guilin, Shanghai. But what we really realized was when I was in Tiananmen Square, and I kind of remember when the students, the tanks came
Rolled in.
and rolled in. But throughout their history, if you were educated, at certain times they got together, the top, and the people that were educated, they put them out on the farms. They did not want them teaching those that were not educated, because you had to have your little red book that you had to carry along with you. If you learn how, or if they learned how to think, then they're going to start questioning the top, the emperors and whatnot.
They're a threat.
The communist.
Yes.
When you get to the Communist Party, the Communist
Is there a
Party.
time period we're talking about, or is this current?
That was in the
70s, 80s?
80s.
70s,
Okay.
80s.
70s, 80s, yeah.
Okay, because
When
China is
communism came in to
Okay.
China.
And then when they opened China up, I was able to go, and I had a state guide for every city that we went to, and we had a city guide. But the history, listening to the guides, because they had moved up in the chain, it was just so interesting. You are going to, and people have been brainwashed. In Beijing, there's a place called the Temple of the Heavens that people who are 55 and older go, and they exercise. Area over here, they dance. It's just different things that were going on. Well, there's an area, and it's like a temple where you can go up, and there's a little circle that you can stand, and it was embossed. It was above the. You can put your head down, and I can speak just like I'm speaking right now, and everybody in there, because of the acoustics, could hear exactly what I was saying. So I was the only African American in this whole area. So when I was standing there and I just said what I had to say, and people just heard it, there were several ladies, and one lady had a baby, and she came up when I was getting off. She ran up to me with her friends. Her friends stood behind me, and she gave me her baby, and they were all taking photos. And after they took the photos, she snatched her baby away, and they all left. Well, the city guide said, oh, they believe that Buddha with the big stomach, when you rub it, is for good luck. They said that if they give their baby to someone who's black and touches it, the baby, is supposed to have good luck. So they were taught that. So that's what it goes back to, the brainwashing. It happens most parts of the world that I have gone to. There's something or some way that people are held down, so that if I'm at the top and I tell you this, and I tell you and tell you and tell you, you don't have any way to process anything differently. You believe it. So I think the Trumpians have been told and told and told.
You know what?
and told.
It's funny that you say that, because I actually followed some people on TikTok, and they went to China, and they're black, and they just say they always are trying to take pictures of them. They just it's like they feel special there. They're like, wow, we just feel so special here. Like, I don't know why, but these people are always trying to take pictures with me, and like
Because they don't see a lot of black people. That's why.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And my wife is Asian. Okay. We were in Shanghai, and we were going to go to the Bund, and we were going to eat. So we were walking down the street, and I'm videotaping, and my wife turned around and she looked. She said, "Baby, better watch out." I said, "Whoa, There was a group of people just walking right behind me, and I didn't speak Chinese, but they had their conversation going on. And when I turned around, my whole body around, they did like this. They were silent. They didn't know if my wife spoke Chinese, if she was Chinese, but whatever the conversation was, it stopped. So if we're holding people down, we will continue. If I'm on top, I tell people 90% of the people are down here on the ground. 10%, the senators and representatives, these people, they're up here. That 10%, we constantly are looking up and talking about them. They never look down and try to communicate or talk to us. They control us. So,
I don't know. China's become a fantastic place. I follow this guy who goes to places in China, and they're, oh my God, they're so beautiful. Everything's so reasonable. Like, their prices are good. The food looks good. The spas are amazing. Like, wow, it's really, really beautiful there right now.
just
Yeah.
Asia, Japan.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
That's the end of this hour. We want to thank everybody for listening in, and we look forward to having your comments. If you have any, leave them on Spotify or on whatever format that you're using.
Podbean.
And, yeah. And so this is Larry Waterman saying goodbye.